Last time on Brian Plays. Okay, we got a real soap opera here, so good evening and welcome to Brian Plays. We're going to continue Castlevania 64. This is the Castle Center, a huge convoluted maze, but we'll get through it. If you were to go straight down that hallway, you would have seen the torture chamber, but it would be locked. So instead we go in here. But be prepared, there's a vampirist, a head vampire, and an old man vampire. So you want to use your tertiary weapons. The holy water is great against vampires, and they seem to take you one at a time, which is pretty respectful for these vampires. Just make sure you don't get too close, otherwise you don't want them gnawing on your neck. So if you haven't seen the first live stream that I had of Castlevania 64, go back and watch it. You'll learn a little history about the game, and some of its flaws will be discussed. But we spoke about a lot of that, so we're going to focus more on gameplay, and this level is really a behemoth. And that's kind of foreshadowed the boss of this level, but behemoth it is. This level could sidetrack you for a couple of days if you don't know what you're doing. Don't want to ruin those pointy boots, Reinhardt. Now, such a nice cutscene for such a wimpy mini-boss. That's the blood creature. 2 whips. He's down. So your main goal of the Castle Center is to travel up the floors. Now, it's kind of linear. I mean, there's not much you can do but continue going up. And it's important to, go for all these rooms too, because you'll get a basic layout. Remember, there isn't any map. You want to be careful with these lizard men, because they're very quiet when they approach you. I think there's like 5 in this room right now. They come out of those lockers. You want to constantly swivel the camera around to make sure nobody's coming up off screen. This room also has a sun card and a moon card. Now, I explained what they were in the last video, so I'm not going to do a lot of repeating. I mean, you can get them now, pick them up later, because we'll definitely be going back to this room. There'll be a save here. You want to get into the habit of saving as often as possible, so just be aware that that's what those bluish white crystals are for. This is a dangerous room. There's two old vampires. The old vampires are a lot nastier than the regular ones. That's not good. If you're lucky, your status will stay good and not vampire. Remember, you have a lot of purifying for the vampire and the cure ampules in case you get poisoned by the lizard men. If you also don't want to face these guys head on, you can use a sun card, and that will hurt them. And with 2 blows each. Good strategy though is to throw the holy water on the ground and have them step in it. You want to be patient in these hallways. I mean, it's just a simple pattern to get through. Now, take notice of that crumbling wall. We'll be getting back to that soon. And remember, if you can't carry any more items, and there's one right in front of you, and you can use it, use it. And then you can pick up the chicken. It's like a free chicken. Now here you'll meet the lizard man, and he turns out to be a friend. Thus begins one of the most confusing side missions that have driven people nuts for decades now. And it's really not that difficult. But let's watch this cutscene first. Now his name is Malice. Malice, come on. You gotta know your Latin roots to know whether this character is shady or just an innocent kid. See, I think the problem with this cutscene is that they put it right after the important information that you would just hold from the lizard guy. Because now you're focused on this kid flipping out and going nuts. You have to remember what that lizard man told you about the Nitro Mandragora. Once again, a nice musical cue, and I really like it. You know, a lot of people are turned off by the music because it's not the classic Castlevania music. This game has a good soundtrack. And just so you know, there's a healing kit in the boxes, and save the game, please. Now that you have the Nitro, you are a walking bomb. If you get hit by any enemies, if you jump, it's game over. Alright, so with the Nitro down on the ground, you can do whatever you want now. You can move, get hit. So now our mission is to get downstairs. Pretty lucky so far, considering. Now your main goal now is to go down to the torture chamber and pick up the Mandragora. Now, what can be a little confusing, some would say a lot confusing, is that earlier in this level, if you went into another room on the first floor, you would see a big cracked wall. And you might forget about the one that we just dropped the Nitro in front of. So there would be a lot of confusion on how to bring that Nitro all the way downstairs. And that's not your goal. You have to do things a little closer to home once you get the Nitro and put it by the first cracked wall that you see. Because there's also a seal on the wall, which you'll see, that we need to break too. But there's a lot of steps that you have to take to get to that point. So right now we just want to get back to the beginning of the level. But of course the enemies respawn. And you can't just leave the room too. The doors are locked. So you're going to have to kill these enemies again. These enemies remind me of the Zoflos from Zelda. This room is a very important room that we're going to traverse through, and eventually we're going to have Nitro as well. It's smartly designed so that you do not have to jump once to get across it, and you'll see that later on. I'm gonna watch out for that Golden Knight. The camera could be your worst enemy in this area, because it forces you to get close to hit the enemy, because if you're far away, the wall starts getting in the way. There's a couple of maid vampires in here. They're pushovers compared to the old vampires. Now this room is really interesting. It's has some questionable inventions. I guess you could say Dracula was pretty astute and liked to do some research. Kind of like a Leonardo da Vinci type vampire. But you can study the items that Drac has here. You can find some items as well. That's why it pays to explore. This room also has a Reinhardt's contract. You could buy some items, but if you're playing the game similar to this gameplay, you're not really going to need that contract, which will help give you a better ending as well. You want to be careful in here and learn how to get through without getting hit, because we're gonna go back soon. So we could have gone down to the torture chamber to get the Mandragora, but we can also access the Nitro room from the other side, which you will see. Either way is okay. But now that we got the Nitro again, this is the hardest part of the level. We're going to take it over to the next spot that has a wall which you can blow up. Now remember, if you get hit once, it's game over. And if you ever want to see what it's like to get hit with Nitro, you can get hit after saving. Now it's pretty easy to forget that you have the Nitro. And if you jump, it's going to be a big problem. So use your tertiary items, like the cross or whatever you have. This is the pharmacy room again, but those two maid vampires won't be here this time. Because the game knows it's hard with the Nitro as it is. Now, you're going to have to navigate this room without jumping, and this is the only path to get through. You're going to have to deal with a terrible camera, those enemies down there, which can hit you, but it's not that common. You know, that was close, but try not to worry about them, but you want to move quickly on here, because those big square platforms can fall. Now you just have to be patient and follow the gears. Now, I owned this game when it first came out, and this part was the most difficult for me. There was always a tight squeeze between, I guess, the cogs or the gears, whatever you want to call them. And I swear, I was doing everything perfect, and then I kind of get pinched a little bit. There was no room for me to move, and I would die. It was over here. And now, right here, I would blow up. And it drove me nuts, and I even started to second guess myself if I was going the right way. Because this is an insanely long path that you have to take with this Nitro. And you know, people were expecting a unique 3D experience for Castlevania. Remember, this was new territory for the franchise. And, you know, there were already gripes about the game leading up to this area. But actually experiencing this level, it was the death nail for a lot of people. So today, you know, mentioned this game. There's so many other Castlevania games that are better. And, you know, this game will get a lot of hate. So I think it's cool now that I get to show you what actually happens after the most frustrating part. Because a lot of people don't see past this level. that have played the game. And this is the other cracked wall I was talking about. See, if we went down to the torture chamber first, we kind of have to make another trip back. So yeah, once you set the Nitro, first thing I would do is start jumping around and celebrating. Because you can now be worry-free about exploding yourself. You also notice some creature sleeping in the, or just lying dormant in the middle of this arena-like room. You'll see him later. And let me tell you, one time I also got hit by the skeleton here, and that messed up my game. Sometimes you want to kind of like deke them into one direction, those bicycles, or juke out of the way like a running back. Now we used the torture chamber key that the lizard man gave us. This is a busy room. You got the old man vampires that just can't help biting you. There's also ghosts in the room, and of course that maid vampire. That must have been a fun sound to record. The female vampire scream. If you imagine being under that thing. Fresh blood too. If you climb on this shelf here and turn around, you can climb on the beams. That's the Mandragora. You do not have to worry about jumping around. You can shake yourself and do whatever you want. It's not going to blow up. Remember, don't lose faith when navigating these areas. If you press against the wall, you should latch onto it. Alright. Now that we have the Mandragora, we can go all the way back. It's the first cracked wall that we saw. It's a lot of backtracking, but all of this is necessary if you want to advance. Now you're gonna have to kill these lizards again. So while we work our way back through the castle center, let me say I was adding a lot of videos from the past live streams on Facebook to YouTube, and you know, I only have a few subscribers now, which is understandable. The channel's not a month old, but what I do is I'm literally filming the TV because I don't have an emulator. I play from the console. I don't have any device that hooks up the console to a TV that can go live or to a computer. You know, this is just old school filming the TV. And I save the videos and upload them on YouTube from my PC. And I made a lot of, you know, special tricks and Easter eggs that are found in Super Mario Brothers for the NES. And one video, I didn't go live. It was really late. I decided to just film it from the phone. And from the phone, I uploaded it straight to YouTube. Now, I don't know if it's because I did that, but as soon as I put the video on YouTube, it was just getting dozens and dozens of views. I mean, I had like 139 views in a month between like 35 videos, you know? But this video ended up getting like 800 views in like 5 hours. So, I don't know if I tapped into the algorithm because I posted on my phone. When I do the live stream, I do upload in HD. And I never get the option when I look on my phone. And when I put it in onto YouTube, you know, the video stays at a lower quality, which annoys me. So I don't know what it is. This video that I put on with my phone, it was only less than 2 minutes long. It was a Super Mario Brothers glitch. But maybe because it was in HD, it's available to everybody? I don't know. But, you know, I'm pleased. I have a few more subscribers in a few hours, and 800 views in a few hours versus 139 in a month. So I'm happy, and I hope more viewership helps the channel, and you know, so people can see these videos. But anyway, you just saw the Nitro and the Mandragora work together as a team, and leads to that explosion. It's amazing that the castle's still standing after that. But now we're in the castle library. And there's a key thing that we need to do. And this is what threw a lot of people off. They would get the Mandragora now and go downstairs and are unable to break the wall. You have to do this first. Now, if you walked around the castle, you would see the 3 statues with the hints of how these goddesses should be rearranged. So the gold piece should be where the 2 is. The red with the 4, and the blue would be 8. So Reinhardt gets his astronomy Boy Scout badge for figuring this out. that bit of power erases the seal on the wall. Yeah, so those numbers where the goddesses were lined up were associated with the planets. So the gold would be where Venus was, or number 2. The red would be where Mars was, or number 4. And the blue would be Neptune, number 8. So in case nobody realized what that was. And had you not removed the seal, you wouldn't be able to bomb the area. So our next step is to get back down to that torture chamber and to get more Mandragora. We're going to go back to where that behemoth was and place it with the Nitro. Now, as far as I'm concerned, this might be controversial to people that gave up or don't remember the game as well and were frustrated, but there's no way to mess this up. You're not going to lock yourself out of the game if you place something where it shouldn't have been, or your order is a little messed up. You're not going to lock yourself out of the game doing the Mandragora and Nitro side quest. You're just not. This is probably one of the more annoying rooms in the game. Look at this. This is a little shortcut for you speedrunners. The cross is nice because it will hit every enemy before coming back to you. I'm still baffled by the fact that those skeletons ride a motorcycle. The skeletons don't bother me, it's just the motorcycle. In the year 1852. Reinhardt's pockets are getting a lot heavier. Remember, you can jump around with the Mandragora. get lost in this level, you'll be hearing this music in your sleep. Alright, after some whip training 101, we're ready to go into the boss room. Just make sure you know where you're going. Oddly enough, picking up an item that is the same as the item that you have won't add to its amount. You have to get those red crystals to raise your ammo count. It could have at least added one cross when you picked up the cross. Remember, jumping around gets you to your location a lot faster. Might want to get out of the way, buddy. After waking nearly every dead and living creature in the castle, you're ready to move on. You could save the game now. It's highly recommended that you do. But once you touch this crystal, you pretty much know what's going to happen. The obligatory eye-opening shot. You know that this sleeping bull is now awake, and he is not happy. Once you get control of Reinhardt again, get out of the way. This is by far the most vicious enemy you've encountered, and he will continually charge you. What you want to do is jump out of the way and start whipping at the sides, but always come from the side and never face him head on. Those energy beams really hurt you, so you want to avoid them. Just keep whipping at its sides. You want to keep whipping the different parts of its body so that its innards start to show. Now just imagine what this fight would look like in a game coming out today. It'd be pretty gruesome, I'd imagine. He leaves behind roast beef. So, I guess you're pretty cruel to be eating your boss as well as whipping its meat off. Now at this point in the level you might not know where to go because there's nothing beyond that wall that you blew up. You have to go back to that area where the statue was crying the blood. But first, you're treated to a cutscene. It's Rosa. Right, it's Death himself. Or herself. Death is a servant of Dracula. And he's gonna make sure Rosa fights Reinhardt. You want to keep running around her. Her little sword has decent reach. And those little fireballs on top of her head are very difficult to avoid. Just keep whipping away and using your items. It's nothing too difficult. For those watching on either stream, this is Castlevania 64. Alright, so you want to get back into the room where the statue is crying blood. And that room actually serves as an elevator lift to get even higher into the castle. Basically from this point on, each level is like a gauntlet. There's no mercy in this game. So you want to get in the elevator, and at this point of the game, if you were on easy mode, the game literally shuts off and tells you to do it again on normal mode. Now, can you imagine going through all of this and the game telling you that the difficulty was too easy for you to advance? I almost went crazy when that happened. So now we're in the Duel Tower, and right away they throw you in an arena to face a duelist. You know, it's not too hard. Keep whipping and throwing your holy water. But this level is a lot harder than the castle, especially if you knew what you're doing. One of the gates will fall down now, and you have to get out. You have to just keep walking around here. And once you walk out of there, the dueling center will collapse. So if you stayed under that roof, you would die. The jumps in this level are very unforgiving, and the camera is even worse. I'm telling you, the camera is the worst enemy in this game. But, you know, the level has good music and pretty good atmosphere. So, now you're in the second dueling spot. So you have another creature this time. It's the werewolf. You just want to follow the same strategy. Kill the enemy and then see which side panel falls apart so you can get out of here. Now if you play this carry, you'd be going to the Tower of Science, but I'm not going to focus on carries right now. See that fall? You want to get right outside now. Now if the camera would actually show you what's going on, you would see that the building collapsed behind you. See, it kind of closed down. I'll give you a tip for this level. If you're having difficulty, you can actually... Oh, look at this secret right here. Forgot about that. That's an invisible platform. So take advantage of that. Now, if you want, you can go back to the beginning of the level. You can exit it and go right out into the elevator hallway. And every time you come back here, you get your health back. So take advantage of that. This jump seems so hard, but you'll latch on if you're lucky. So here's our third duelist. Basically, that's a ticked off Minotaur. But just keep following the same formula. And always look to get out and then see what platforms came out so you can progress. That part's tricky because it's easy to miss this little platform. You need the few extra feet to jump. Luckily, those things don't kill you in one shot. They hardly take much energy away. So this is the final dueling spot, and you get the Were-Tiger, or one of the characters from the Cheetah Men game. I mean, even though these guys have immensely powerful attacks, you can keep your distance and keep whipping away. Now, if you're unsure where to go, circle this area, and you'll notice some platforms that are new, like right there. You can also be knocked off that platform too with the rotating blades, so be careful. But you know, once you get through there, the level is over and you get your health back. So take a deep breath and look at what's next. Out of the frying pan and into the fire. The Tower of Execution, which also has great music. This is a platformer's nightmare as well. I'm telling you, Reinhardt goes for the ringer in his story. If you were a carry, you would be in the Tower of Sorcery, which is quite the opposite of this area. Pretty much one wrong step in this area and you are toast. Your biggest enemy here are the Medusa heads. When you jump, you want to make sure there's nobody coming towards you, because they'll just knock you out of the sky. So you basically want to use the perimeter to walk around and the center tower. And you want to get higher and higher until you get out of this place. And here's another secret, and this is a special too. That's going to be useful for when you beat the game. You can get special costumes. And I think one of the costumes resembles Simon Belmont's costume. You could be a little more patient down there too, if you'd like. You don't have to fly through it. There's no time limit. I think when I first played this level, I just started laughing at all the things that could kill you. I mean, it's truly a Tower of Execution. Now, you need a key to get through there. It's not essential. There's just some items that can help you. I guess we can get the key. For these skeletons, you know, just hit it once and leave it alone, because they can't die. But they can throw their bones at you better than Peyton Manning throwing a football. I don't know if I should say Peyton or Tom Brady, depending who's watching this video. I should say Mahomes. A lot of people seem to like him. See, those Medusa heads can be so frustrating. Like in most of the games that they appear in. And you want to see frustrating? Because it takes so long to climb up. It's open season to get hit. Alright, so the key's in that Iron Maiden. Those skeletons are like the dry bones in Mario. They always coming back to life. So you can open this gate with the key. And you'll see what's inside. roast beef is good. You need it. It restores 80% of your health, I believe. Oh, that's a close call. Remember, you gotta make a decision to jump off because those platforms will retract all the way into the wall. So we want to get to those stairs that you just saw in the background. But always check the perimeters. I should make a video of gameplay mechanics that usually pay off. Usually when you're playing a 2D side-scroller, go left instead of right. Always check behind pillars. Check the perimeter of rooms. I think that would be a neat video. So now, you know, we're in a vastly different room. You can hear the clocks ticking. Remember, when we hear clocks ticking too, you know you're near the end of the Castlevania game. According to Def, this is the end. Of course, Rosa takes the brunt of the blow. Just when you thought she was already dead. Not once, but twice. It seems like a third time. This might be the growing up that Reinhardt needs. So he gave you a ho ho ho, now he's giving you a he he he. It's time to take him down. Now, unlike the other games, Def in this game isn't super hard. He likes to put on a scythe and a pyrotechnic show. But you know, take him out with your weapon, and you can throw your axes at him as well. Or whatever weapon you have that you can throw. Don't ask me why he has an evil flying fish, but just like that, Def is gone. time to go and fight Dracula. But we're gonna have another level before that. So I think we've reached an important part of the game, and we entered the clock tower. But we're gonna continue this another night. So just get a look at the place. It's the memorable clock tower level that you see in many Castlevania games. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We will climb the tower next time on Brian Plays.